Welcome everyone, my name is Lady Alex, and this is Say What with Lady Alex. Today I will be talking to you about a few of my passions and why I created this podcast. Aside from my photography and my many craft projects, my true passions lie with gaining knowledge and sharing it with people to help make a growing and positive community. On this episode, we are sitting down with an amazing woman, Kaitlyn Fix, mother of 3 and a marketing whiz. We are going to talk about her and her husband's trials and tribulations through co-owning one business to breaking free and doing what they truly have passion for, how being an influencer has changed her life, and what's to come for their future. Alright guys, today in the 27 Studios, we have Miss Kaitlyn Fix here. She's going to be telling us about all the rad things that she does. Hi Kaitlyn.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks for coming in. So, I have been looking up on your Facebook and kind of stalking you a little bit on your social media. Tell me what this awesome thing that you're doing. I see it's kind of like a network marketing online.
Yeah, definitely. So, let me just give you a little bit of background.
Of course.
I've been in network marketing for, since I graduated high school over 10 years ago, and just fell in love with the industry and the value that it can provide for people, and the journey into entrepreneurship for a lot of people. And I think it's allowed a lot of people, it's broadened their concepts of what they can do to be an entrepreneur and to become an entrepreneur. And for me, I fell in love with the personal development side of things. I fell in love with, self-help books and podcasts and the ability to grow yourself and not have to spend thousands of dollars or go to college or any of that stuff. And so my entry into network marketing, that's where I fell in love with it. Yeah. And my husband and I just a few months ago found this company to where everything that they were and that they provide just fell in line with what we wanted, with non-toxic, clean living products. I think a lot of people are looking for a lot of those things nowadays. Yes. They're being super health conscious about what they're putting in their body, the chemicals they're using in their home to clean their home. And, weight loss, weight management, supplements, collagen is a big craze nowadays. And, nootropics for coffee to be able to, as us moms, we need some brain clarity.
Oh, so, I have to have my coffee. Trust me.
Amen. I need it every morning. So, and just the way things are built, we didn't just look at a company for what products they have, but for what systems that they had in place to be able to duplicate ourselves and to be able to provide residual income long term.
That fell in with line of the vision that you guys already started, right?
Absolutely.
So is this kind of your first go into the network marketing this business, or?
No, so 10 years ago I got my first introduction to it in a health and wellness company. Okay. Sold different juices, things like that. Right. We went into then being a part of a couple startups, and startups are interesting.
Yeah, they're hard.
Especially they're hard in the general terms of companies, but when you do a startup in network marketing, it can be even more difficult. Yeah. And so that was a great learning experience for us. And we discovered that it's really difficult, but we learned a lot through it. And we took a lot of those lessons that we learned into what we're doing now, into a vehicle that we think is really great, that we can actually succeed and help others succeed in.
So you can kind of weed out all those, companies that boast that that's their vision, but don't in the end deliver.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's incredible. Now, okay, this is something that I personally have had issues with, offending people. What do you say to those people who are saying, oh no, that's just not for me. I'm not into pyramid schemes.
Oh, well, quite honestly, I think it's just a misperception. There are true legitimate pyramid schemes out there, and it's just informing yourself. Most people don't really know what that means. It's just hearsay. They've just heard it said. Yeah. And they bunch in all network marketing into pyramid schemes.
Oh, for sure.
And that can be said of any industry, really. But So it's just asking people some questions like, well, what is a pyramid scheme to you, you know?
Okay.
And just not being defensive. I think that's the biggest thing is when you get defensive about someone,
Yes.
people's walls go up. They're not open-minded about things. And you know what? This industry is not for everyone.
Right.
And I'm not pushy about it. I'm in love with what I do. And I think if people see people that are passionate and that are honest and that are kind and hardworking, the conversation can open up to talk about the legitimacy of this industry and the bad companies too, and to expose, you know, the good and the bad about the industry.
And you know, someone's bad company, maybe someone's good company. It just depends on what they've done for you and how that correlates with your own vision.
Exactly.
So that's really interesting. I do like a quote I found on Pinterest. That's my go-to. Pinterest. But it said, Google doesn't know you unless everyone else does.
Oh, I like that. That's great.
Does that have relevance to your business?
Yeah, I would say it does. Just as far as people get in business with people they know, like, and trust.
Oh, yes, for sure.
And if they don't like what they see, especially nowadays, so much is online, on social media, and if they don't like what they see about your posts, about who you are, they're not going to get in business with you.
Oh, for sure.
Even if their interaction with you one-on-one in person, if they didn't like their first impression of you,
then it's out the
door. Yeah. So it's, you know, you have to be careful, even if you're posting online. You have to be intentional about what you're putting out there for everyone.
Sure. For sure. And especially in today's society, I feel like so many people are on edge. They're so sensitive.
Absolutely.
So honestly, you could say, I love peaches. And someone's going to get on there and be like, well, actually, peaches make me swell up and I could die. So I'm offended by this.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go about having these wicked, awesome, like, empowerment posts and incredible things and gain that following like you have?
Yeah. That's a great question. I think you're not going to attract everyone. And you have to get past the fact that for me, I'm branding myself and the things that I'm passionate about.
Right.
I'm passionate about my kids, about my husband, about my business, and, you know, about wellness in general and personal development. Not everyone's attracted to that, and that's okay. And I have to be okay with that. But even the people that are attracted to it, and maybe I post something that they're personally struggling with, and they might take that post as you're talking about me.
Yeah.
And take a personal attack when in reality, it's just something they're struggling with. Yeah. And I'm not trying to third party them.
Joe over there.
Yeah.
No.
But you just have to get past, you know, you're always, I love the fact about entrepreneurship. And if you're achieving and chasing after greatness, the critics are going to come after you. It's just inevitable.
Yeah.
You're going to have critics that come after you and attack what you're doing, attack your company, attack, you know, what you're doing and think you're doing it for the wrong reasons, but they don't know your heart.
Yeah.
And so you just have to know in your heart why you're doing stuff.
For sure.
And move forward with confidence.
Bare Elements Events. Creating life's precious memories, one element at a time. Everything from planning events, providing talented DJs, or photographers trained to perfectly capture your life's moments. You'll receive personalized mementos you'll cherish a lifetime. For booking information, head on over to Facebook, Instagram, or bareelementsevents.com. I just had a podcast episode 1 that I really got in depth with this, and, you know, you're, like you said, you're not always going to have everyone like you. And as long as you're living your true, authentic self, it shouldn't matter. Those are not the people that you need around you then.
Exactly.
So that's really awesome. And so you told me, I think you said you've only been back in Grand Junction. By the way, this is a middle school friend of mine.
I know.
Throwing it way back. Actually, not to, you know, jump out of what we were just talking about, but I had a birth and delivery shoot just last Monday, and I ran into Carrie Barnes.
Oh my goodness.
Well, now it's Dancer, but
yeah, way back.
I know. I was like, is your name Carrie Barnes? And she's like, what? I haven't heard that name in forever. Like, oh, I'm sorry. Well, you are forever Carrie Barnes.
Yep. Always.
Right. So how do you just like get all the things? You do all the things and you've only been back for such a short time.
Oh, gosh. I don't feel like I do all the things.
No. I don't think any of us honestly think that we're managing it well.
Honestly, the only way I'm able to, quote, do all the things is I have a great support system. Yeah. I have my husband's incredible helping with everything. I have a great family that helps out. Like right now, my mom's watching the kids. Oh, and nice. She's, it's great to have family to be able to help out with the kids. Yeah. And, sometimes they know that moms need a break. Yeah. And so they're like, we'll take the kids for a couple hours while you get stuff done. Nice. And, I have to, we have great friends too, but I have to realize that Supermom doesn't always get everything done all the time, and that it's okay sometimes if the laundry's sitting there clean in the laundry basket and doesn't get folded. You know what? At least it's clean. And I love that meme that's been going around Facebook. It's like, Mom, what are we having for dinner? And it's like a banana mixed in with Cheerios and spaghetti sauce. I'm like, we're eating leftovers. That's me sometimes. Like, oh, for sure. We have beans and cheese.
Quesadilla. We're doing it. That's ours. Yeah. Our go-to is a quesadilla.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, I got kielbasa sausage and cabbage. They're like, not again. So it's prioritizing what is the priority and being intentional about making sure that the things that I take as priorities and that I'm wanting to achieve that day are taking precedent over the things that aren't a priority. And so if I've got some big business goals that I need to hit and achieve, I've got to make sure that the laundry, the cleaning, all that stuff doesn't take priority over the goals that I'm trying to achieve. And, and so, because a lot of times we can get so busy in our life doing the things that don't matter.
Oh, yeah. The things that are going to be there tomorrow also.
Exactly. Laundry will always be there, and so will the dishes. But the things that won't always be there are the time spent with our kids, the business goals that we're running after, our family, the things that matter. And so it's really about being intentional and setting intentionality with each of those things to be able to accomplish all the things.
And I think it really does start with like the small steps, because, once you accomplish and have this one tiny thing as a routine, then you can start adding more to your plate. Yeah. Because you already know you can do that.
Exactly. Well, and speaking of which, not to cut you off, but a lot of times when we want to make changes in our life, we get overwhelmed with the amount of things that we have to change. And there's a really good book out there called Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he talks about the fallacy of goal setting, about we set a goal with, it's got to be a smart goal, that's got a timeline and it's measurable and all this stuff. But a lot of times those goals, if we don't hit them by the deadline that we want, we get defeated, or we get halfway to that goal.
Marked off.
Exactly.
We failed.
Yeah, or we get halfway to that goal and we're not even close, and then we give up.
Yeah.
And he says instead what we need to do is form habits that get us to that goal. So it's all about habit formation and starting at one habit at a time. Yeah. And so for us, what we did at the beginning of this year, instead of setting goals, we set habits. What are some habits that we really want to enforce and create this year?
That's smart.
And, we wrote them out, and then we picked one or two at a time to work on. And once those became habits for us, we moved to the next one.
Right.
And then you can compound and stack habits on top of each other to get towards your goal.
Yeah. And so you blink and then you're doing all the things.
Exactly. And you're like, wow, I was overwhelmed about this 6 months ago, and now I'm doing it all and not blinking an eye at it. It just comes naturally.
That's so important, because I think that can apply to anything. Business, losing weight,
absolutely,
mothering, all of the things.
Yeah.
Takes little steps, and steps before you even know it. I mean, the time's passing by anyway.
Exactly.
That's really interesting. How do you think that, your entrepreneurship and your drive, how does that teach your children?
Oh, I love it. I think there's so much that can be taught to our children through entrepreneurship. Oh, yes. And one of the things that I love teaching my kids is to think outside the box.
Okay.
And that nothing's ever going to be given to them.
Yes.
They need to work hard to earn it. You know, I grew up, you know, my parents weren't entrepreneurs, but they taught me how to work hard.
Yeah.
And so that's a value that I've always loved and I want to instill in my kids is, you know what? It is hard work being an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And the rewards are great if you work hard.
Yes.
And you're not always, sometimes you don't see the fruit of that and sometimes it's disappointing. But you have to learn to deal with the disappointment.
Yeah.
And learn, what can I learn from this? That's a question that I always try and ask myself when something doesn't go the way I want it. What can I learn from this to get better? And so I ask my kids that when something happens.
Oh.
What can you learn from what happened? You didn't like the outcome of that. What can you learn? Or what do you think the lesson is?
And you do that like in the moment when they're...
In the moment,
nice.
Yeah. So... There's
they're just being taught this from the get-go.
They are, yeah.
That's awesome.
And my daughter, she, you know, every kid at her age, she's 6.5 right now. She wants to start a lemonade stand for the summer.
Oh, okay.
Well, you know, I told her, okay, let's write up a business plan. I want to teach you how to do this at 6.5. So I said, what all the ingredients, everything you need for a lemonade stand. We wrote it all down. Then we went and looked up how much everything cost and how much she has to make. And I told her, here's some things you can do to earn money.
Yeah.
And maybe you can ask your grandparents or friends some things that you can do to earn money. And then we'll go buy all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'll help you run it and all of that stuff. Because her goal is to earn a Barbie camper, enough money to buy a Barbie camper. Yes! And so I'm like, you know what? If we can teach our kids, work hard to achieve a goal, to get the reward. Yeah. I think that's huge. Even if they don't go into entrepreneurship. Right. But it's a great thing to know that I'm teaching my kids these steps.
Why go out when you can stay in? Lady Alex specializes in fun ladies' night in parties. Pick a craft, pick some drinks, and let's make it an adult house party you'll want to have over and over again. And I don't know about you, but word of mouth is the best form of flattery. So head on over to your favorite platform and let's be friends. You can find me on Instagram as @thereal_Lady Alex. Or on Facebook at Say What with Lady Alex Podcast. Let's connect! Hey podcasters, musicians, or anyone needing a commercial? Have you heard of 27 Productions? Steven is a legendary producer with a master's in music production. His vibrant vision creates a bright passion for what he does. His expertise ranges from album production with various artists. Say What with Lady Alex Podcast, and many more. Head on over to 27 Productions Facebook and Instagram, and let's record! Be sure to like and subscribe and contact us for booking information, or go to bearelementsevents.com. I have some wonderful ladies that I'm going to be interviewing tomorrow, and they do financial business, and what they had mentioned to me, which I think is really interesting, is we tend to do our finances kind of in the same similar form that our parents did. Yeah. Because that's kind of all we saw. That's kind of all we were taught. So that's really exciting, you know, that your kids already have it one step above, you know, where most kids start. Because I know I didn't learn that stuff. I mean, I didn't get an allowance, but I also was like, Mom, I need this. And she'd be like, oh, how much? Right. So it was never like, let me earn this. I know with us, me and my husband, we do it a little differently. So our daughter will, of course, want to go to the toy section every time we're at Walmart. And if she finds that she wants something, and this is the end all be all, she has to have this. We have a tendency of buying it. We'll buy it then. And then that night, it goes up on the bookshelf right next to her room where she can see it all the time. Nice. And we make out a plan for all of the things and how much it's going to cost to earn the price of that
great.
toy. So she's earned a Barbie makeup head and some lip glosses, and she's all about it. Like,
that's great.
She will bug us and be like, "Are we doing the plan yet? Because I want that. So I want to start cleaning. I want to start doing this." And so I think that's, we need to stop just giving things to our children.
I agree.
Because I feel like that's how these entitled little beasts just are created, because they don't know any better.
Yeah, exactly.
That is crazy. That's awesome. Well, how do you think that, focusing on your entrepreneurship has maybe hindered your children?
Well, I would say
that way we get all the nitty gritty.
Yeah, it's hard. In our previous companies that we were with, it was a lot of meetings. We had to meet with a lot of people. And so it was getting a lot of babysitters, and it was time away from our kids, especially for my husband. I stayed at home with my kids. Oh, okay. And so I was with them all day long. But for my husband, he didn't get to see them as much because he worked all day, and then we would go do meetings in the evening. Yeah. And so I know that tore him apart. He didn't like that, but it was the sacrifice at the time and hopes to be able to come home and not have to have a job to spend all day with them.
Hard work now, pay off later.
Yeah. Now we build all online, so we're home, which is great.
That's awesome.
But it still has its drawbacks. We still have to be intentional. We can't be on our phones all day and mom. We have to set aside time to be with our kids and then let them know, hey, this is the time we're doing business. Here's, you can go play outside, you can do these things. So there are drawbacks, because it's easy to get sucked into your phone and be doing business and not pay attention to your kids.
I'm totally there with you, because I just, all the things that we're like just launching, especially this month, I have just on my phone, or I'll check to make sure, and then next thing you know, it's been 5 minutes and I gotta set it down, because I've had my daughter being like, "Mom, can I show you this?" for 5 minutes.
Right.
And to me, it was only a second. Give me a second. So I like that being intentional. Do you have like a set time, like a set schedule for you and your husband, or do you kind of play it by ear for the day? How do you set up your weeks?
Typically Sunday afternoons, we try and set up our week.
Okay.
What do we got going on? We compare schedules just to make sure we don't double
Everyone's
book things.
Everyone's on the same page.
Yeah.
Nice.
And for him, he has all day at his job that he gets to do business, stuff like that. In the evenings, sometimes it gets busy because we, have Facebook Lives that we do, or team calls that we get on. But we try, and when he gets home, we set an hour aside for dinner, family time, play, no phones, just to make sure.
Time.
Sundays are typically our no business days. We just spend family time.
That's good.
And because we need that rest and relaxation to revamp and recharge for the next week. And
that's why they have days off at normal businesses.
Yeah. And for me, it's chaotic being at home with 3 little kids.
Oh, I bet.
And our best intentions and plans don't always go as planned.
Right. Gotta kind of be flexible in that area.
Yeah, exactly. Like I love getting up early in the morning before the kids so I can get stuff done, get
that mommy time.
The mommy time, get some things done before the kids. Well, it doesn't always happen, like the last 2 days my daughter's had a fever. She was up all night.
Oh man.
I needed that extra hour and a half of sleep.
Oh yeah.
So, the best of intentions, sometimes you just got to go with the flow and be flexible.
Yeah.
And know that it's my daughter takes priority over business because she's sick and she needs mommy.
For sure. Now, I know with me and my husband, we always have great intention and everything seems to be going great. And then one derail because, life happens.
It does.
And then another day of derail. And then we're like, we are really going to get back onto it.
Yeah.
And then the next day, another derail. How would you suggest, just jumping right back onto it when you feel kind of defeated from how many derailments you've had?
Yeah, that's good because it's tough. It happens to everybody.
Yeah, that's just,
in every human, journey.
Right?
Yeah, and whether it's with weight loss or with I'm gonna start working out every day, and then you miss one day, and then miss another day.
Or I'm gonna write a book, and then next year I'm gonna write a book.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of it. I mean, we can get derailed for sure, and it's just having the resolve to come back at it. And you know what? I'm going to make sure this happens, and I'm going to set in place habits, comes back to habits too, but set in place, okay, how can I be sure this doesn't happen again? Or what can I set in place to make sure if you're going to write a book, I set aside the time to sit down.
Okay.
And I'm going to do it at this time.
Right.
You know, set aside the time to make sure it happens.
Yeah, and just start.
You know, and with a lot of it can, even with business, with our business, we coach a lot of people in our business and they're like, yeah, we want to do this. And in network marketing, I'm not people's boss. I'm their coach.
Right.
And so I can't force them to do it.
Yeah.
I can inspire them and uplift them and encourage them, but I can't force them to do it. And so really it comes down to, are you going to make the commitment to yourself?
Yeah.
And when you get derailed that one day or if something happens, are you going to let it be day after day after day? Or are you going to hop back on and snap out of it and say, you know what? I committed to doing this.
Right.
And I think it's also accountability, finding some accountability.
Yeah.
And for us, Clint and I hold each other accountable a lot.
That's good, yeah.
Which can be
hard as a couple.
Because it can cause, heated arguments and like, hey, you said you're going to do this, but the expectations, don't worry. But also giving each other grace to, like on the hard days, some days don't go as planned. But, so there's a lot of flux and giving people grace, but also realizing you've got more in you. I just did a Facebook Live on this last night. Like,
okay.
Sometimes you got to call your friends out that like, hey, stop telling lies to yourself. Yeah. You are created for more, and you can accomplish more than what you're giving yourself credit for. And so it's speaking life into people and having other people speak life into you when you're derailed and you're down on yourself.
Yeah. No, I get that. Don't forget to like and subscribe to hear more about how amazing our local female community is in challenging themselves to make an incredible place to live. Next week, we have an awesome opportunity to chat with maybe you, so be sure to come back and hang out with us again. I had a wonderful, beautiful friend the other day, and she had been posting, some posts that seemed like she's having a rough one. Mm-hmm. So I messaged her with an awesome offer for a mommy and me special because she has a little guy at home. And her reply really shocked me. She said that she does not think that she is photogenic, that anytime a camera comes out, she just has this sloth look about her and that she just couldn't even do it. And I just no problem. Like, if you don't want to do it, that's totally great. But don't belittle yourself.
Oh,
you are beautiful. What are you talking about? I think it's interesting how, especially in today's society, it's so easy to just jump on that negativity bandwagon.
Absolutely.
How do you stay so positive?
Oh, podcasts.
Podcasts!
Putting in positive information into my head. I mean, and controlling my newsfeed on Facebook. It's actually... unfollowing negative people. Yeah. You don't have to unfriend them, but you can unfollow them if they're not posting positive stuff. Listening to positive podcasts, reading good books that are like good self-development, positive books. I have my days where I get to be a Debbie Downer, and my husband's like, what happened to you? When you're a mommy sometimes and you don't get a lot of sleep or you're hangry, I try to not let myself get to be that place, but it happens, and it does. Yeah. Or the kids are being special that day,
and you're just like, I'm gonna take a breath in the bathroom with some wine.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, mommy juice. But yeah, I think a lot of that's one of the things I really want to empower people to show them that they have control over not their circumstances, but the way they react to their circumstances.
For sure.
Because we can't control what happens around us, what happens to us, so to speak. I mean, some of the things we can, but we have control over the way we respond to events and the way we handle things.
Right.
And if we our brain, there's so many cool science things. I love science and studying the brain, but our brain creates neural pathways.
Okay.
And the more negative we are, the longer we are. It's like when your dog is walking in a path and a trail, the same path, it creates a trail, and the grass dies.
Habit to go right there.
Our brain does the same thing with negativity and positivity. Oh, yeah. The more negative we are about certain things, it just creates that neural pathway to that your brain automatically creates the negative response every time something bad happens.
Oh man, that is incredible to know.
Yeah, but if we're positive, and the more positive we are, and creating the positive path, we're more likely to take a negative circumstance and try and find the positive in it, or try and find what can we learn from it, or the silver lining.
I love that.
Yeah,
that is really
it's incredible, the power of our brain.
And it's so true, because you can have, that negative friend and she's got this positive day, and you're like, yeah, get it, girl, let's do this. And then the next day she's like, oh my God, that sucked. Like this and this happened, and you're like, no, you were almost there. Right. And it's okay to have bad days, but I think we don't need to air it to the world. Yeah.
I mean, we can be vulnerable and say, man, this is just a rough day, I had a rough week or whatever, but we don't need to constantly be Debbie Downers or up and down. People want consistency. Yeah. They want consistent friends and the consistent attitude.
For sure.
The roller coaster of emotions gets draining on everyone.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I feel like the consistency in my life is the roller coaster. Like for people around me, those emotions, sometimes you try to find someone who is consistent, and it's just the same thing. So maybe not necessarily consistency, but maybe always striving for growth and positivity. Because I like that quote. I think Rachel Hollis said it, but I'm not 100% sure. If you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
Because that's true.
So good.
It is true.
Yeah. Or it's like an escalator. If you're not going up, you're always going backwards, or something like that. I don't remember what it is.
That's exactly what it was.
Yeah. I gotcha.
All right. Well, that was so interesting. I'm so happy that we got to speak with you.
Yeah.
Now, how do we find you? How do we see all the wonderful things that you're putting out in the world?
Yeah, just go to my Facebook page. I post a lot on Facebook, Kaitlyn Fix.
Okay.
It's just my regular Facebook page. I have an Instagram account.
But that's not where you like to hang out.
I don't do a lot on Instagram yet. I'm learning the beast. But yeah, Kaitlyn Fix. You can follow me on there. I do a lot of Facebook Lives every Monday night, 8:30.
Awesome. Okay.
And my husband and I are starting to do one together Tuesday nights. So sometimes it's on my page, sometimes it'll be on his, Clint Fix.
Now, does he basically does kind of the same thing that you do?
Yeah.
So he does his own. Is
Yeah.
that more geared towards like the guys and you?
Yeah,
the girls,
he's got a different market that he's reaching to. He likes tech stuff. You know, he talks a lot of all of that.
So basically, you guys cover all of the things.
Yeah, sure.
Between the two of you, let's be real.
Yeah, he covers the nerdy stuff, and
hey, I think we all have one of those.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. Well, we will be sure and check you out on Facebook, since that's where you like to hang out. Yeah. And we're also gonna make sure that you are on our Facebook and Instagram to promote you.
Definitely.
Now, on the Facebook, is that where on the Facebook? I sound like my mother. Is that where we can like find your wicked awesome products?
Yeah, well, you can just message me.
Okay.
And I can get you some more information and added to some other Facebook groups to check out some more products.
Ooh, nice. Yeah. Awesome. All right, so that's Kaitlyn Fix. Be sure and check her out at Facebook. And that was very interesting hearing about all the things.
Thank you for having me on here. It's such a pleasure.
Of course. Be sure to come back.
I definitely will.
Awesome. Are you a rock star female of Western Colorado who is constantly working your butt off to achieve your goals? Would you like a chance to tell Lady Alex and your friends about your passions? Big or small accomplishments, I'm calling all awesome moms, bosses, wives, and all-around lady bosses out to be on the new Say What podcast with Lady Alex. Finally stop trying to make yourself smaller and spotlight all your accomplishments that make you a rock star role model of the week. You can apply on Facebook at Bare Elements, subject line Podcast Opportunities. Online marketing is something of the future. Businesses riding on what used to work for them are lacking bold vision needed when trying to survive past the generation that they were originally created for. We are all living in the high-tech age, where Blockbuster and home phones are a thing of 8-tracks and record players. So then why does it seem, if we are a younger partner of an established company, that your unique vision of what could corner the market for your clientele, the reason we were hired in the first place, goes unvalued and put aside as if our age implies a lack of knowledge? If we can learn anything from Miss Kaitlyn Fix, it would be that the future of online marketing is now. Newer generations are striving for a community that allows them to be heard and to actually help them. What this has created is a boom in social media marketing, getting paid for promoting products you already use because you're not selling just another product, but you're selling you, your happiness, and all your successes. Vulnerability, it seems, is, quote, what the kids are after. We can all see things changing. So why would anyone not want to grow in this new age also? Younger generations have the privilege of living an easier, less judged, authentic life. But let's never forget that if we didn't have the women before us pushing boundaries, we wouldn't get to be as honest as we are. I challenge each and every listener to find someone who may not think the same as you. Instead of holding up walls to defend yourself and keep judgments in your hearts, first try listening. You might just find that they do have similarities. It's okay for others to differ from your opinions, but let's all commit to less judgments and create this beautiful community. Head on back here next week to hear me interview the fastest growing financial educators team in Western Colorado. Kim and Karen talk about why they do what they do and how they even got started. From working for others to opening their own branch of Five Rings Financial called Key Resources LLC, we get a unique look inside how these incredibly vibrant ladies do all the things. If you like this podcast and found any value in my words, please like and subscribe, snap a picture and post it to your social media, and don't forget to tag me to get recognition in future episodes. That's a wrap.